After 25 years of combat sports, I've picked up 10 lessons that go way beyond fighting. And it's actually the same exact approach that I now use inside of my sovereign integration system. It's an approach that I use to see myself fully for what I am, accept what I see, and then rebuild from that place of peace. Discomfort is like whiskey. The first time you drink it, it tastes terrible. But as time goes on, it still tastes terrible. The only thing that changes is your relationship with it. Discomfort is growing pains disguised as death by an ego trying to protect you. This one has shown me to be true across the board with almost everything. But to give a specific example, when I'm at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy and I have a student of mine say, why isn't this move that I'm doing working when I try it in class, when I practice it on my training partners? And my natural follow-up is, well, how much have you actually put time into it? And they'll say, well, I've been working on it for about like 2 weeks here and there. And then as you can imagine, my obvious rebuttal or reply is, you have not given it enough loyalty. You need to give things time, but you have to be committed to it, regardless of the temptation to change, to try a different move, seek novelty, or allow the feeling of boredom to be a sign that it's time for something different. You have to stay loyal. That is where gold will lie. Not just in developing a masterful skill in something, but to also experience more of life. The deepest experiences of love, passion, gratitude, and meaning you will ever have are found only when loyalty is given. Not by being naive or distrustful, but by voluntary choice, knowing the risks involved. We are beings that create. We build things, we make things. We also destroy them as well. But anything we decide to aim ourselves fully at begins to multiply. Options, directions, our ability to see more of the areas that we need to improve on, the areas that we're actually showing great signs of improvement, which then over time, as we stay focused towards this, the more you begin to experience compound growth. The longer you stay concentrated on something, the more of its inner workings will reveal themselves to you. What follows is compound growth. This is also in conjunction with loyalty. I also think of this as when you're pushing a boulder up a hill. As you're staying concentrated on one thing, maybe a skill, a relationship, a career, it feels very uphill at first, especially when the honeymoon phase passes. So it feels arduous and tiring, and all sorts of things come into your mind, and your heart starts to feel ache and pain. But as you continue up that hill and you stay consistent with understanding and growing and revealing yourself to yourself over and over again, you eventually get to a point where you tip that boulder over that hill and it begins to move downhill. I know for me, as I stay concentrated on, for example, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I'm a black belt now, but at first, it was grindy, it was very difficult. I would lose every single time in class. But eventually, as I stayed loyal and put my heart into it, put my mind and my soul, the compound growth became so overwhelming that then I became better, faster and faster and faster. And this applies the same in relationships, applies the same in how I view myself and how you view yourself. When fighting, especially when someone is new, let's say, to combat sports, they're either too aggressive and they lack the wisdom to know when to pull back. And so they overstep, they reach too far, they stumble, they make massive mistakes, thus causing them to feel frustrated and angry because they are now being run and controlled by something else internally. Now, on the contrary, there are some that come in that are very apprehensive. very afraid to access their aggression. And so then what happens is they get absolutely steamrolled, and there's not much they can learn from it. When you are too ambitious, you are blinded by emotion and narrative, which kills the balance needed for a healthy life. But when you are too defensive, you become static, diluting your power as the world passes you by. In grappling, as you become more advanced, you begin to find that razor's edge where I can move forward and be aggressive while simultaneously defending and making sure I'm not making any careless mistakes. Sometimes I'll progress forward aggressively, but then sometimes I'll retreat. Sometimes I'll be static, sometimes I'll be fast. And this wisdom only comes in time as you try to seek the balance between ambition and feeling content. You can move forward in life and maintain your inner peace simultaneously. When I'm inside of a coaching call and I gave my client an assignment to do, and it's regarding a process of healing. And if we meet up again for our next session, and he says to me, I've been doing the work and I've been doing it all day long and I'm not really seeing results. My natural follow-up question, because it's a relationship, we're working together, I naturally say, well, how much focus and how much intent and how much of what you're doing was really fully invested? Meaning you're doing it not thinking of something else at the same time, or you're doing it just to say you did it for that hour. Pretty, I would say, consistently, they would always say back, well, yeah, I would do it, but I'm half somewhere else, thinking about work, thinking about what this person said to me at the grocery store or whatever, thinking about this girl, realizing that they have done the work, but they weren't fully in the work. Large volumes of poor quality will only make you exceptional at being just off the mark. This one is a very difficult one for a lot of men to own, especially for me. This is a very difficult one because it's very hard to put ourselves out there. And so we try to absolve ourselves from the result. We say we don't care and it doesn't matter and it's all about the fun. But we know deep down that we care. We want to care. Part of the enjoyment of the masculine is seeking and wanting to conquer. There is an enjoyment there. But the problem lies at a deeper level. Being too relaxed about failure is often a way to avoid disappointment. Reacting too deeply to failure is often a sign that your identity is either validated or invalidated by the result. When I was competing and I wanted to be a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I wanted it because it was gonna, I thought, fill this void that I had, believing I didn't matter. So then if I achieved all these medals, then surely I matter now. But as you can imagine, it robbed the joy of everything that I was doing because I absolutely hated the tournament experience. Every single time I went on the mat to compete, it felt like death. Life or death. If I win, great. It's not even that when I win, I'm up in the stratosphere. I win, I survived another day. But if I lose, it's like someone just cut my legs right off. And it was until I dug deep and went through an identity collapse that I realized that I was needing to deal with it in here versus needing to deal with it out there. All things could be done alone. And it is absolutely important to know within yourself that you are not needing or dependent on somebody. Not because you hate them, because that's operating from a different place, but rather knowing that you have the ability to figure it out. But it is once you have aligned with that and you can resonate and see it, having a group of individuals who are on the same journey as you is going to make the process more beautiful, more meaningful, because it doesn't just become about the outcome, it becomes about the journey with somebody else. To see other people grow alongside you, to see other people overcome fears, to achieve success. It is part of your healing journey as well, and becoming the more authentic, expressed version of yourself that is always seeking to refine and integrate all aspects. And when you can see that around you, it is something you cannot put a price on. A group of like-minded individuals allows for all to learn at a faster rate, sharing wisdom that could save you years of pointless suffering. I'm one to say that perfectionism is not a problem as long as we have a good grasp of it. It is the same fuel that allows you to take chaos and form it into something absolutely beautiful. Lack of action leaves you stuck in iteration. This is often a fear of exposure. If we find ourselves consistently saying, oh, it's not good enough, I'm not going to publish it yet, or I'm not going to say it in the meeting, you're withholding, always feeling like it's not exactly right. We want to dig deep and see whether or not this is really a fear of exposure, a past wound that is surfacing itself, having you reserve and hold back because of judgment or rejection. It is action combined with continuous iteration and self-exposure that will elevate your work and overall life to its highest form. It is only through maximum effort that you can actually see inside of that debris what is it that you can actually take that is productive, that is valuable information that you can then take and move forward and expand, refine, adapt, whether it be a skill or in your relationships or in your career and business, family life. But it is only through maximum effort. A way that you can also see this, to build more context, when I have students competing at a tournament, I can tell almost instantly, just because I've done it also for so long, and I've coached individuals for almost a decade, that whenever they approach the mat, I know whether they're in it or not, whether they are feeling the moment, but they are embracing it, they're accepting it, or whether they want to leave it. And based on the performance, it confirms. And then when they leave the mat, we have a conversation. I say, how much of you was out there? And they say to me, 50%. I wasn't fully myself. And so the only thing I can say to them at that point is we're just going to have to, for the next tournament, try to push it to maybe 60%, 70%. Now that is still an improvement. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It is still something, a part of your journey that you have to be okay with. However, it is only when you can get to the place where it's at 100% that not only will you leave a failure, a moment where you did not have the result you wanted, be something you can accept with peace. And you can say, you know what, I gave it my all and that's okay. Like, it just wasn't me that day. And you could genuinely feel it, not force it. But you can also look very clearly in the moment and say where you went wrong. I have gone through 2 identity collapses. The second one being larger than the first. Shorter, but a lot deeper. And it was only in that absolute pit of confusion, nihilism, frustration, hopelessness, that I was actually able to meet myself again, as I have been ignoring my deepest part, blinded by pursuit, running away from my wounds as fast as I can. The unseen reward for hitting rock bottom is returning back to yourself and spending time with the boy we ignored. Click the link below, sign up to the waitlist for the Sovereign Brotherhood community, group of men who are seeking to heal their past so they can finally live in the present moment with peace, clarity, and vision. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next video.